互联网是流量烧钱模式，是少数数字英雄的财富盛宴。通过它竞争其失败者是资本沉没，成功者也只不过仅是股东分享其垄断收益，形成不同主体之间产品与产品、企业与企业之间的竞争，导致贫富分化与政府反垄断的介入。互联网平台陷入了只能通过烧钱来维持并扩大市场的尴尬局面，持续亏损是必然的事。实际上，这种烧钱模式从长远来看，显然不会给消费者带来可持续的长远利益。当一个平台达到了垄断相对稳定的时候，就开始盘剥只能依附于平台的商户及服务提供商，在给消费者补贴取消的同时，甚至可以通过大数据杀熟以谋取其利益最大化。当然，资本都是逐利的，既然抢占到了垄断稳定的地位，就必然追求垄断利益。就由资本允许这些互联网平台巨头公司连年亏损，也是指望在鏖战成功后垄断利润的超高额回报。消费者似乎通过获得互联网电商平台一定补贴的甜头，倘若由其一家独大，消费者最后还是得为之买单的。随着区块链技术以及通证经济的兴起，从根源上挑战互联网平台烧钱吸流量垄断、后反吸食消费者血汗的模式才能逐渐崛起。尽管到目前为止尚没有出现达到诸如阿里巴巴这样互联网电商平台巨头体量的区块链项目，但从区块链技术原理与通证经济模式机理出发，可以预见到区块链支撑的通证经济模式不是烧钱模式，而是共享模式，是专精特新和屌丝逆袭共发展的模式，是各行业可以在同一平台实现利益诚信同向的共同富裕模式。通过整合商业生态，尽量调动各种资源与有效劳动的结合来实现利益的共享。在这种状态中，就不必像互联网电商平台那样通过比拼烧钱来夺得赢者，通吃的头把交椅。当然，在互联网中心化平台模式中，也只有头把交椅的夺得才能获取垄断超额利润，而是可以建立起一个又一个区块链商业生态，通过积分的作用发挥来实现参与者的共同分享。基于区块链技术构建的商业模式是可以实现各行业在同一平台上利益的同向性，其利益的同增长、客户的共享以及红利的共同参与获得。通证经济将实现不再是产品与产品、企业和企业之间的竞争，而是生态与生态、产业链与产业链之间的竞争。竞争的结果是生态与产业链的不断扩展，和谐共存同富。这样平台与平台之间并不存在你死我活的流量烧钱竞赛，而是可以各自依据现有的资源同步构建。到合适的时候，各链平台之间也可以通过跨链技术来实现资源与资金共享，共同做成一个超级诚信大平台。这就是互联网中心化服务器及数据库与区块链技术去中心化分布式服务器及链式数据结构决定了的完全不同的两种模式发展。区块链技术是去中心化分布式服务器及链式数据结构，所有的参与者可以通过共享数据及资源来实现利益通证分配。只要形成共识，那么所有的参与者都能从不断增加的数据流量来获取其贡献的收益。所以通证经济模式中是无需通过烧钱竞争的，也不是你死我活的赢者通吃的，是协作共富的。
大家好，今天9月17日，星期六，这里是派派资讯频道。今天派派为您带来圆周率网络最新消息。今天首页迎来更新，主要内容是对一些问题进行答疑。下面直接步入主题。问题一 ：KYC 可以重新提交吗？在图像验证失败时会被允许重新提交，如果是因为审核名被卡住，则需要在申诉改名程序启动后才被允许。为了避免虚假用户获得更多验证机会，重新提交 KYC 是被谨慎选择的。问题二，通过 APP 通知主网清单团队成员去认证的选项功能尚未启动，是某些功能有待完善。通过电子邮件等方式通知非活跃先锋通过认证是可行的，这需要大量的工作和时间才能完成，大家耐心等待。问题三，验证员何时会收到奖励？这取决于认证通过率以及审核验证次数，比如有的先锋或许需要在反复提交资料后才能通过，意味着可能进行了几轮验证，而他实际上只付了一次，所以验证员的奖励要进行平衡后发放。问题四，总共有多少个验证员？目前超过70万。问题五，所有有效验证是否都涉及到人工？是的，目前是这样，人工智能在此工作中不能达到100%准确率，它需要学习，未来会承担主要工作，以减少人工介入工作量，从而提高获得有效奖励。已完成的工作中国 KYC 的先锋超过260万。问题六，输入助记词能否自动切换至英语键盘？这个主意不错，此后技术团队会研究这个课题。好了，今天的内容就分享到这里，喜欢本频道的派友欢迎持续关注派派频道， 这样就可以在第一时间收到派和区块链的最新消息。谢谢大家。
Resubmission would be a useful remedy only for a few cases, such as a failure in image recognition checks. That makes sense, that allowing them to resubmit their images for the algorithm to to take another try, and then many of them actually get passed. Until there are major changes to the system in these checks, like for example the image recognition, the resubmission wouldn't help that much. If someone who is actually stuck because of their name appeal, then it should be waiting for the name appeal feature to come out to resolve the, their name don't simply match that case. So giving them another resubmission wouldn't only lead them to have more trouble resubmitting one more time, wouldn't let them just go past because of resubmission. However, we need to strike a balance in granting, even for the checks that resubmission would help, we need to strike a balance in granting resubmissions, because we don't want to let the fake accounts to get many opportunities to retry either. Yes, there is already a feature actually halfway, shown, but there is some scalability issue and not fully fledged for people to use. I don't remember where it is at. Maybe it's in the mainnet checklist. Oh, the last step. It's like inviting your teams to KYC. So this is the mechanism and feature we thought of to mobilizing the inactive or other members who haven't KYC to KYC. In a sense, it's decentralized motivation mechanism. Each person is motivating their own security circle or referral team to pass KYC because they have their own motivation as well, because the bonuses attributed to those members depends on the verification of identity of their team members. So the feature that we're thinking of is notification through similar to the PIN. However, we're also open to sending email notifications, which will take time to set up the infrastructure to send millions of emails, but still more feasible than sending text messages. The majority of the efforts right now in the KYC team have been to unblocking pioneers for their ability to submit KYC and getting unstuck in the KYC review process for various reasons just mentioned above. For the user endpoint, it's just the same. It's pending or it's stuck. But for the engineering side of things, it's actually different sets of work. It's not just one set of work and unblock all people. It's a different miscellaneous set of work to unblock different people for different reasons. And that's why it takes time. And that's why you continuously hearing people who is stuck is because, there are always remaining people who is stuck due to the probability of algorithms and due to human errors. And we're trying our best to unblock them and improve them as much as possible. The validated rewards are accumulated by deducting 1 Pi from each successful KYC, especially at the migration and into a pool. This pool will only increase and will not decrease because it will only be used to reward validators. All the work, such as checks a validator did, are accounted for in the database. So we have all the data that is needed in order to distribute the reward. So the rewards from the pool will be distributed after the calculation of the accurate validation checks, because there are some validations should be false and that shouldn't be compensated for. It will be after the KYC process is more stable state where all pioneers can apply to KYC, fewer people are stuck in the pipeline. This also helps to reward all validators more fairly, because the initial periods of KYC movement, we call it, if it's a network movement of KYC, the initial periods, like right now or any time before right now, it should be considered the initial period. This may involve more negative results, meaning that like these ones are marked as internally as rejected or actually rejected, whereas later stage, presumably more cases passing. So the pool only come from the successful KYC, as a reminder, because only the people who are KYC that actually can claim the Pi and therefore actually have the ability to pay the 1 Pi, but will reward all the work by validators, even if the results of the cases are negative, meaning that the work, if a validator accurately validate a case and determine this case shouldn't pass, this validator's work still needs to be rewarded because it's a work helped to result in accurate negative result. So accounting for larger data set of the validation work helps overall more fair reward distribution. I'll give a very simple example. So early on, let's suppose, all these are supposed hypothetical number. Suppose 3 out of 10 KYC applications pass KYC. And these work are done by 10 validators, which is, assumption is hypothetical because actually each case has many validators involved. Let's suppose 10 for simplicity. Therefore, this will yield 3 Pi should be distributed among 10 people. And each validator will only get 0.3 Pi. But later, as the system improve, later 9 out of 10 people pass KYC, and also done by 10 validators, 9 Pi will be distributed among 10 people. This leads to the later periods 0.9 Pi. But if we pool both batches together and distribute the Pi rewards together, it means that 3 plus 9 is 12 Pi in total, and distributed to 20 validators in total, then each validator should earn 0.6 Pi instead of for the initial validators that basically suffer from a lot of negative results is 0.3, and then later has much higher. This is a simple hypothetical example why pooling it together more to reach a little bit more stable KYC periods helps even or more fair distribution. Okay.
Currently, there is over 700,000 validators who have validated at least a certain amount of applications, meaning that it's not just one or two, it's like a few applications, Yes, at the moment, every KYC application involves multiple human validations. But human validations do not constitute the whole validation process of a KYC. But all the cases also involve multiple machine automation checks. So we will see how this can evolve in the future. Maybe we will be at a point where many validations can be fully completed by AI, and when the AI is not certain, that's when it goes to human validators.
Yes.
And by the way, this is going to be a benefit for human validators as well, because they will only be called to do meaningful work, therefore, more meaningful work, therefore, critical, meaning that not the easy cases, but the more difficult cases that the computer cannot determine. And as a result, the proportion, the amount of Pi that will be distributed would also be higher, because fewer people are needed per person who needs to KYC.
Yeah, so this is the design of a components of a machine and also AI and human is by it's to make something 100%, meaning that it can reach finality. Because AI until today, even though it's a great applications in areas very widely, very useful, but it cannot achieve the 100%. However, the KYC determination needs to be 100%. That's why we have the design of two components. And at the same time, as you guys, many of you know, AI has the nature of evolvement, like evolution of itself, of getting smarter as it goes. And that's what Nicholas commented on later. It might not need certain processes or reduce certain type of work for validator while giving validator more critical work to work on.
So we're doing two things basically as we go. One is we're using these algorithms to make decisions in the applications as they go, but we are also learning, the algorithm is training and learning based on validator responses, and it's improving itself. Some migration statistics. So currently there is a little bit over 1 billion Pi that is moved to mainnet. It's 1.046, something like that. And about 80% of that is locked for 6 months or more, like 813 million and some more. We have migrated about 1.3 million to mainnet. That means that this 1 billion Pi belongs to those 1.3 million people. And there is currently about 2.6 million, about double that, who have passed KYC. So this means, if we divide the numbers up, it means that currently the average mainnet balance of pioneers is about 800 Pi, 808. These are the statistics, current statistics about the migration. Can we add the feature automatically switch the keyboard to English when entering a passphrase? This will limit the situation that the pioneer still leaves the keyboard in the native language and confuses one number or character when entering the passphrase. I think this is a really good idea. We can look into whether it is technically feasible, if the phones allow you, if the phone browsers allow you to do this, to modify the keyboard settings. If we can, it's a really good idea. Thank you for proposing it.
好，那我们最后来总结哦。来，第一点重点就是 KYC 重新提交资料时候，仅对于操作不当有效。比如说你的照片不清楚，内容填错位置等等小错误。如果是你的名字跟动比较有大差异的，不好意思啊，你重新提交你也没有办法通过了哦。第二个，项目方会有所谓的激励机制就是呢，透过 email 或者简讯，你想办法把你的那些邀请对象把它叫回来尤其是那些不积极的。甚至是怎样根本不点的，只有自己安全圈跟团队的人通过 KYC 激励奖励才会释放，可能自己通过几个就给你多少激励奖励了对啊，相当于你叫他们回来，他们去叫他们的邀请者，他们也会有激励奖励嘛，很好嘛，对不对？第三个，审核员奖励方式他先统一把你的那个奖励的那些币放到一个奖励验证池，之后再陆续的拨款。你那个乱验证的人可能无法得到奖励，这本来就是理所当然的。成功验证出刷子的那些厉害的人那个验证成功而且真的是正确性很高的，你可能会获得更高的奖励赞，这样比较公平，没有错。有关联的验证事件会汇集并重新减负，就是说呢，你不要认为说我这一次我今天心情不好，我验证的人我给他不通过，整死你。然后呢，隔天我心情好，我就认真验证。不好意思，你每一次验证的记录足迹都会留下来。然后呢，到时候要拨款给你，他不会只参考你单一的事件，了解吗？所以你每一次的验证过程，你都要认真的去对待啦这样才能够给予更公平的这种相关验证者的奖励吧。好，那我们看一下第4点，目前大概有70万个人工验证者验证过一定数量的申请案件OK， 就代表说。合格的应该算是项目方他承认合格的大概70万人左右。第5个，目前每个 KYC 过程还是需要人工验证者，所以会比较慢一定比较慢。等够有足够的数据学习进化后，项目方当然是希望通过 AI 自动验证来取代大多数的案件。要动用到人工的部分，只要处理更复杂的就可以了那当然，这样你越后面半年之后、1年之后，数据越多了，那当然呢，你人工部分就会越少，这样其实呢，速度才会真的有明显的去提升嘛。好，第6点，目前主网潜力大概10亿币，这个大家知道了有80%的账户锁定至少超过6个月以上了那130万个账户是成功迁离，那项目方释出了应该是超过260万人提交 KYC， 因为你释出一定是比260万 个邀请还要多买，当中可能那些未成年的那些或者是根本就送给他根本不点的，有没有看一下啊？我不想参加 KYC， 我不想玩拍了，扣一扣，应该是超过260万人的这个 KYC 邀请，可是还是很少啦，讲白点还是很少。那目前所以通过大概是只有一半而已了大概一半，大概一半。好，那成功牵引的人，这样除一除，算一算，好，扣掉那些锁定的客户那些不可以动用的部分，大概是能够动用的每人大概只有800颗，800颗而已了所以你可以想一想，如果你今天为什么收不到，也许你是真的是大佬我今天如果通过 KYC 的话，也许我可以动用的部分远远超过800颗，那项目方都故意不给你嘛，也是有可能的，对不对？好，如果目前手机或浏览器功能可以支援自动转换语系的话，能够尝试设计这个，其实做一个功能，我觉得也不错啦就代表说有时候确实应该不止英文，如果你影片是以英文的角度去提问，那当然英文都可以，其他的语系当然也是可以啦。那对于那一些，比如说我们如果在不同的语系下去操作，有可能会遇到这种状况。那其实是蛮大的一个便利的OK， 那希望今天的影片有解答到大家对于主网迁移跟 KYC 目前最新进度的一些问题。好，那影片最后，派老爷感谢大家，让派老爷有机会陪着大家一起财富自由，谢谢大家。